Hey guys, Reginald Duck here, back today with an updated deck. I've got the Evil Eye mixed with the Gold Pride deck profile. It's really strong. I'm going to do a combo tutorial as well. Let's get into it. So for the main Geezer, we've got 3 copies of Cerzial. This is basically full combo on its own if it resolves, because the stuff that came out in Hypernova, the spell card for example, is absolutely absurd. So this just searches on normal summon for any Evil Eye spell or any Evil Eye card. So main Geezer, love him. 2 copies of Basiltrice. This also came out in Hypernova. So you've got your 2 previous extenders, one from hand, one from grave. This can do either, so doesn't matter if you draw it, send it, whatever, really good. And then if it's in your grave, you can special summon it as a quick effect, and then you can quick link on a new effect. 1 Basilisk. This card is still really important because you want to be able to like foolish extra copies of spells, because in this build oftentimes you find you can't keep an Evil Eye spell in grave, so then when you have to banish one for Celine, you don't get the new one in grave, you know, for being able to link. So still 1 copy, really cool. Also it's an extender. 1 Catoblepas. I don't really like this card too much, but in grind games this and Basiltrice can come back every turn, and then you can just overlay with them so they don't get banished. So it gives you infinite rank 3s, so that's really cool. And then onto the Spice, got 3 Gold Pride Leon. I find the ratios in this deck are awkward because of the trap card, so the cards you actually don't want to see you have to play more of, because you want to beam this out on your opponent's turn. You don't want to draw this, so you have a 100% chance of being able to hit it off the start of your engines, because you reveal 3 Gold Prides, you want to summon this one. So basically on summon you can reborn a Gold Pride, and then you can quick synchro in your opponent's main phase. So you get locked into Gold Prides if you use the reborn effect, but for example you could just make Psychic End Punisher with this and Nitro, but you would not have been able to use the reborn effect this turn. So 3 copies. 2 Carry. Again, weird ratios. This card is better, but you don't need 3 of it because it is searchable. So I find the main thing that makes this deck so strong is this is a level 3 Fiend, so you can make the DDD XYZ with it. So you can make this and then also search the trap as well. So really cool. So I'm sure you all know the Gold Prides by now. If you're on lower life points than your opponent, you can special summon them from hand, and then they all get their effects on summon. So Evil Eye has a couple of ways of making you take damage, so that's where the synergy is. And then you've got a few 1-ofs, 1 Nitro Head and 1 Rollerballer. This card I literally only ever use it for making Psychic End Punisher, if I'm honest. This card, it feels a bit win more sometimes in this deck, but you can go from Leon into Rollerballer, so you can make Star Leon, then the big baller, and then you win. So 1 of each. Then for the spells, got 3 Evil Eye Pareidolia. Really cool card. On activation, search for an Evil Eye monster, and then you can, if an Evil Eye is destroyed, you can add 1 back, I believe. It does come up, but the main effect for all intents and purposes is 3 extra copies of Cerzial or whatever else you need. 3 Unleashed. This is the card from Hypernova. Absolutely broken. So basically it is a double Foolish Burial for cost to search for an equip spell. So you send one of the equips that searches in grave, you send a Basiltrice or a Catoblepas, whichever one you don't have, and then you search for Celine, or you can even search for another copy of Gorgonale. And then while it's in your graveyard, if you link summon in your opponent's turn, you can banish this to equip an Evil Eye of Celine from graveyard to that monster, which then gives it its effect. 2 copies of Evil Eye of Celine. So this is the first one. So basically makes your monster untargetable, indestructible, and then if this card is in the grave, I can pay 1,000, banish an Evil Eye spell to set this to my field, and then obviously just activate it. And then the Cerzial I mentioned before, I forgot to say, when he's equipped with Celine, he has a quick effect pop, so just destroying monsters and stuff. Really cool. 2 copies of Garganeo. So I'm just playing 2 and 2 of the Evil Eye equipped spells. I believe it's the correct ratio, it always feels good. I wouldn't want to play 3, I don't believe. So basically, when it's equipped to the monster, it's treated as Selene, so it can still trigger your Surzeal, but then it makes your monster gain attack equal to the difference in life points. So if you're losing, this makes it gain, basically. I also forgot to mention on Selene, every time you activate an Evil Eye spell or trap, you pay 500 life points, and then the monster equipped gains 500 attack. So that's another way that you can get into your Evil Eye, into your Gold Pride like life point deficit. 1 copy of Evil Eye Awakening. It's a reborn, but if you control Selene, then you can summon from deck instead. So just a great extender. It's also searchable off Surzeal, so if you need an extra material for making a rank 3, you can. Really good. We're only playing 2 copies of Gold Pride Battle next time because we can easily access the Captain Carry, and I wanted this deck to be dead on 40. There's already so much engine in this deck, I didn't feel I needed to play 3. It's really cool, but I mean, you can search it off Carry, and you can make Carry just off your 1 card combo, so really good. Basically, you search a Gold Pride monster, then take damage equal to its attack. So just basically put yourself at a deficit straight away, and then if a Gold Pride goes back to extra decks, it's activated its effect this turn, then you can draw 1 card. So it's good like drawing the card, but it doesn't really help because, I mean, you don't play any hand traps apart from impermanence, and you can't use it because you've got a field. It's still good for, just a free card though, I guess. 3 copies of Book of Moon. This card is absolutely insane. I was talking to just a couple of players at UK Nationals this year, and I think it was Jess Robinson who was saying that her and her friends are going to try and get this card limited again. So hopefully not, because it's one of my favourites, but we'll have to see. 3 copies of Pot of Prosperity. This card is really, really cool. The deck's already very consistent anyway, so sometimes you'll just literally use it to pick up 3 cards, so you've got an extra interaction, but you want to make sure you see your 1 card combo, so really good. Try not to activate this as your first card, because if you get drolled, you can just lose, so you'd rather at least get somewhere, resolve a Surzeal rather than resolve this and get nothing. So try to play around droll, but it is quite difficult. Got 1 Evil Eye Defeat. It's a compulse if you control an Evil Eye. If you control Selene as well, it's a double compulse. Again, also searchable. Retribution. It is a spell or trap, counter trap, so negate, and then if you control Selene, your opponent can't respond to it. So the reason I'm playing 2 different ones is basically if I've already drawn this, then I can search this, or whichever one's good against a certain matchup. This card is really good post side as well, so make sure you always end on this. Then we've got 2 copies of Gold Pride Start Your Engines. So this is absolutely broken. When your opponent summons, you can activate this and then reveal 3 Gold Prides. Your opponent picks 1 at random, summons it from deck, then you destroy the summoned monster. So of their monster that you targeted. So basically, you reveal 3 Leon, destroy their card, Leon summons out Carry searches another Gold Pride Start Your Engines for next turn, then you can quick synchro into Star Leon and then destroy another card. So absolutely broken, and it's searchable. And lastly, 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. Just a really solid card, helps going second, like breaking boards. It could be literally any sort of flex spot card. Same with the Book of Moons, you could play Dark Ruler if you really wanted. But I like Imperm. I find sometimes you can have a bit of an issue if you've got the Gold Pride secret rare, the continuous spell, because you can end up with so many back where you actually have to hold some because you don't have room for it all. Like you could have like an Imperm, a Book of Moon, a counter trap, a Start Your Engines, and it can get a bit much, but generally I don't find it's a problem, and if I can build the board, you usually win anyway. So that's your 3 copies, that's it for the main deck. For the extra deck, got 1 copy of Surzeal, Ruler of the Evil Eyed. So this card is really good. You can make it in your opponent's turn, So you can use your Cerzial, use its pop effect, then link summon this in your opponent's turn, attach the equip spell, and this has got another destruction effect. So, and then during my standby phase, it will negate a card it points to. Sorry, it's either negate or destroy. Let me have a look. Oh yeah, negate a card it points to. So you can use that to negate your opponent's card, or you can just like, whatever. It's really good. Also, it can attack multiple times, and if it's been made with a material with more than 26, I believe it is. So really cool, good way to finish out games. Quick effect destruction, again it'd be protected by Selene. Got one copy of Gorgon. I'm gonna be honest, I usually banish it off Prosperity. I know I probably shouldn't. I should probably keep at least one of each, but you know, it is what it is. So it's basically, instead of being a destruction, this one's a quick effect negate. Because you can link using the equip spell as well, I find usually you're just going to link straight up into the 3 rather than go for the inferior 2, but it comes up occasionally. Try not to banish it all the time. So we've got one unicorn, one phoenix, completely standard, just removal cards. You could play pretty much anything. I do like these though. They are fiends as well, so it comes up if you're under certain floodgates and stuff. Got one carry, really good card. Basically, on summon, you can search for the secret rare, gets you into a full combo. If you're at a life point deficit, then you can like Foolish Burial or Gold Pride, so it's really good. Goes back in the end phase, but then you draw a card. So, really cool. You just need the one. So that's that. So we've got one copy of Cicada King. I think this card is really underrated. Basically, it's just a monster effect negate, just on the field, but just attaches one and then it gains 500 defense. So just a rank 3 you can end on, helps like make your board a little harder to crack. Got one copy of Fortune Tune. It's just for making Zeus plays. You know, if you go second, just crash this in and then make downward, make Zeus, and you've not actually activated anything. So one copy of Fortune Tune. One DDD Stone King Darius. Basically, you can upgrade this into the big DDD, the Machine X, and this just requires 2 fiends, 2 level 3 fiends. Got one Phantom Knight's Breaksword. This card is unbelievably good in the deck because you can, for example, pop your own field spell to pop their card. You can pop itself. You can just really go and extend your plays with this card. Or you could destroy Selene, bring back Selene by paying 1,000, and then obviously you'll be able to gain more attack off Gorgonio because you've paid an extra 1,000. Really good card. One copy of Downward Magician. This is just the way to make a 4 material Zeus. You've got the Machine X. This card is absolutely insane. So basically, this is part of your end board most of the time, just don't get buried. So you just, when your opponent activates a monster effect, detach 2 materials, attach that monster to this. So this comes out with 3 materials, but it is not once per turn. So you would make this, detach 2, and then it's got 2 more materials, so you can do it again. So it's a double, basically, not a change of heart because you attach the monster, but it's really hard to play around a lot of the time. One copy of Zeus. This card is absolutely phenomenal. Don't tend to make it that much, but it is really good. So just one copy. And then for the Gold Pride cards that aren't carry, we've got one Pinballer, really good. Probably the hardest one to make, but then you can just attach your opponent's board. This one, if you're at a lower life points, you can destroy a card. I think it's a monster, sorry. And then this is just Psychic End Punisher. It's awkward to make, but it's also massive, so I figure you have to play it, especially in a sort of Gold Pride variant. So just one copy. So that's it for the extra deck. So for the side deck, you could build it entirely differently, but the way I side this deck is if I'm going second, I actually take out the Gold Pride cards. There's 11 of them, and I'll put in 11 blind second cards basically, so hand traps evenly matched, for example. So got 3 copies of Nibiru. I just find that the Gold Pride stuff isn't good going second, especially if you can't like pay life points. If your opponent's already paid life points for something, you just can't do anything. So 3 Nibiru, 1 Effect Veiler. Again, these ratios are completely up to you. I just needed like 11 cards I could put in. 3 Magnamut, 1 Druid Swarm. Again, these were all really good for me when I played them. I played this deck for a locals quite recently. I did quite well. Really enjoyed it as well. Got 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Again, literally choose your own hand traps for your current meta, but I feel it's really important to be able to side out all your gold pride cards. But don't forget you side out your gold pride cards and make carry like I did in one of my games. Sorry to my opponent who I still beat despite playing probably the worst I've ever played. There we go. 1 Duster. Even against decks that aren't Labyrinth, like against Branded, you still want to be able to Duster them before you start doing stuff, because it's got Branded in red, Branded lost, all that nonsense that you just don't want to deal with. So you got 1 copy of Duster, and then lastly 3 evenly matched. I think if you go in second, you should just play this card, regardless of what deck you're playing. So, God, it's absolutely absurd. So 3 copies, just put them in, take out all your gold pride stuff. That's it for the extra decks, for the side deck. I will do a combo video, but I'm not going to record it now because my voice is going. So thank you very much. I'll see you in the next video.